many of you have heard of Helios? Or perhaps you've seen Greek cults openly worshiping him. Roman cults, perhaps. American, English. Those of you who have heard of him probably heard of him through my videos and your regular viewers, unless for some reason my videos really picked up. Helios is a deity, a sun deity, that no European gives a flying fuck about, generally speaking, to say the least. And why is that? Wasn't the sun key to Egypt? Why isn't there the sun on the flag? What happens when you worship the sun? What happens when you even like the sun? Well, people who like the sun, they go to the beach, they get a tan. They feel a certain way, they're in a certain spirit. And that spirit doesn't tend to be evil or destructive. Even the Osiris cults understood that no one but the pharaoh could claim to identify with the splendor of the cycle of the sun's death and rebirth. Well, the Igbos have a masculine god, and he has 5 major characteristics. Throughout my research, I found nothing to the contrary. I've seen him described as a masculine god. I've seen him described as a sun god. And one of the better descriptions I came across recently was that Anyan Wu, the sun deity, so to speak, was one of the characteristics of Chuk, part of how he marshals together everything and marshals the universe. So this video is called Psychology and Democracy versus Elected Monarchy versus Divine Monarchy. A true monarchy is the spirit of God in the arc of the weapon which is being wielded by the pharaoh. So as he slices down, as he slices around, and so on, right? There's a certain arc coming down, an arc coming around, right? It is also the direct path of the spirit to judgment, similar to a blade striking a European enemy. Now, I want you to stop for one moment. Why do I say European? I wasn't going to say that at first. But when they interfere on behalf of a group, I make an example as a warning from God. So whether they're Eurasian, European Jews, or common Europeans, certainly the corporate system is designed to elevate them over everyone else, and the interference I've been experiencing is coming from them. So it is fair. It also leads me to the next point that I may not have otherwise made. Makeup seems to have been used by the non-dark skin races to create an image for themselves to manipulate or conform to worldliness and the types of scum that want you to conform or help them form the con. Help them with their illusion, their illuminism, their trickery, their evil. So obviously only cowards, pledge their loyalty to this type of idea, joining these cults and groups and so on. Okay, they've said that we are inferior forms of life and that we can only achieve respect by trickery. That's what you do. I mean, who feels the need to trick? When Ali was beating the shit out of somebody, did he have to pretend? When somebody wins a race, do they have to apply trickery if they won it fairly? Now, only cheaters resort to tricking. And obviously you cannot trick God. No one understands God. Together we don't understand God, but certainly the top martial artist understands God more than the masses of people who have chosen to conform. They don't even understand God enough to know they must be uncontrolled and walk in truth. And that there is no excuse. Even in their holy books you see things to this effect. I've read things by Buddhists, people and Hindus and so on, to this effect, that don't live the illusion, tell the truth, and things along this line, on the way, the truth, and the life, Matthew 10, and so on. Democracy and elected monarchies are failed systems because the masses of people who do not have the light martial artist, intense African warrior spirit to do the right thing vote together for evil. So, of course, we're all from Africa, and if you have that warrior spirit, you have no problem bowing down and following the top martial artist, right? To each his own. So when I'm standing alone, it suggests, no, it screams that I'm the last person from the light temple. Not only am I the symbolic sun on earth, and everyone else being stars or specks of dust or something to that effect. Okay? But I'm the last one from the sun temple. Because certainly if you're from the sun temple, you come to the sun, right? You're one of those particles or whatever floating in the sun. Cosmic dust, etc. So where are they? Well, they're the same place on the flag. They're not to be found. I'm it. If you are a coward, you would say otherwise. And yes, that hesitation to do the right thing is part of why you display inferior genes that make it easier to outmaneuver you in battle. So the consistent cowardly choices of your forefathers, with all due respect, led to your inferior form. And as you follow suit, how can you then turn around and say, is it fair to punish the children for the sins of the father? Like father, like son. You cannot even transcend your father's mistakes. You continue them to the best of your ability, more often than not. But at least continue them nonetheless. Where are you? And yet you say, is it fair? Of course it is. Of course it is. Sparring and the lack of a challenge to all has proven me the only true king or pharaoh alive. To say I challenge anyone to a fist fight, a thumb war, a wrestling match, a UFC fight, a kind of brute force knucklehead fight means nothing. To challenge someone to the only relevant challenge that shows spiritual power and who should be in charge, that means everything. I've never even come across someone else making a similar challenge in all my research into martial arts. I did it for 4 years for $4,000. It's open and shut. If you can't even see that you should do that, to take that step, you're an idiot. One needs to only really look at one martial arts system to come to that conclusion. Say karate, right? Well, if I was going to prove that I'm the best at karate, how would I do it? Well, sparring. I even read the video before this, right? Master Heel Show. How can you know what a true martial art is without an emphasis on sparring? Taekwondo. I mean, all these things are paths that lead you to me. And those who choose a pure light, not yin-yang path, don't let the hat fool you. I'm pure light. Those people end up knowing that I'm the top. And those who wish to go to heaven and honor their ancestors in heaven and not in hell, so to speak, at least, they follow me and drop everything. If the rich person should drop everything and follow Jesus, how much more the average person? What's your excuse? I am the bright and morning star. Jesus is a European twist. You don't have the oral tradition. You don't have 4,000 Jesus videos. You have a few quotes here and there that may or may not have come from him. It may or may not be taken out of context to the point that you completely don't understand. But certainly they've been taken out of context to the point that none of you understand, or you would be here right now understanding, standing under, not next to, not equal with, but under the sun. There is nothing the same as the sun under the sun. Symbolically, I am the sun. I'm not the same, but I am the sun here. I'm supposed to marshal things together. Everything that is natural and of God and listens, has heart here, heart, earth, follows me. Those of you who question what I say, who can hear my voice and not understand that I am true of voice, what are you? If not a devil that will be destroyed. And even if I was the only one serving God in all of human history, which I assure you is not the case, do you really think that together all of mankind could outdo God? He who created himself. He who is the source of all knowledge. Everything that is from him or a reaction to him. A despicable form of life. Chuku is a sun masculine god, a great masculine spirit no science can detect. If you can detect it with science, it is satanic and not the great chi. You might be able to detect the heat energy moving through me, but you won't be able to detect the spirit. Not with science. The great Qi, right? Chinese, Chinike, Chinese. One letter difference. Don't exactly know why that is. But certainly it's not a coincidence they use the yin yang and a kind of gender neutral philosophy that the followers of Chinike who ended up rolling with Neri used. Neri is the kingdom that Eri established along with other kingdoms. And they are the guys who eventually went a worldly way. They chose elected monarchs. They chose worldly philosophers,